Welcome back, students. This is part 5 of chapter 3, Advanced JavaScript. In this video, we will be learning window object, its properties, methods, and JavaScript events. Students, we have already learned document object model. Here we are going to learn window object. Window object represents an open window in a browser. It is at the very top of the object hierarchy, and it is the parent object of all the other objects. Here we see window is the first thing that gets loaded in the browser, and the document actually gets loaded inside the window object. So we'll see the properties here. The properties are name, location, document, status, closed, and the description along with it. So you need to study the property and the description. What does a name do? So name sets or returns the name of the window. So how do we write this property? So you have to mention window.name and you have to set the name equal to and you give the name for it. And you can return the name. Return means the same thing. If you have set the name, you can display it to the user. Similarly, location. If you want to know the location of the current window, that is possible using window.location. Next is document. Document we have already learned when we learned document object model. Window.document.bg color we get used to change the color of the document. Status. Status, this is to set or return the text in the status bar of the window. So when you open an Internet Explorer, and in the status bar, if you want to display something, a text, that can be done using window object, that is window.status. Closed, it returns a Boolean value. Boolean value means true or false value, that whether this current window has been closed or not. If it is closed, it will give you a true. If it is not closed, it will give you a false value. Now here we see it with an example. This is an HTML5 program in which I have used all these properties to make you understand. You don't have to study this program. Few of the things are there for your SOP. In your practicals, the status is there. Then BG color, we can use BG color along with the document, that is also there for your SOP. Now here you can see I want to change the name, window.name. I want to give the name as HSC board. So this is how I do it. Window.name. Why window? Because it's an object. Object.name, that is the property, equal to, we will give an equal to, we'll never put a parenthesis here because it's a property, not a method. Equal to, I'll give two words here, HSC board. Then I'm displaying it on the screen, document.write. I've written window.name, so you can see the HSC board is displayed here. Remember students, window object is the parent object of all the other objects. So if you don't use window and if you just use name here, then also it will work. So you don't have to write window along with all these, but still it will work because it's a parent object. Now document.write, the location of this page, window.location, I'll get the current location of this page that is displayed here. Then window.status, I want to change the status into hello students. Here, see, when I open this web page, I got this hello students in the status bar. This has been opened in Internet Explorer. You can see it here. Now I want to check whether this is closed or not. The window is closed or not. Window.closed. Okay, so you can see here it is mentioned, so it's open, so it is false. So basically you need to study these properties and you should know the description. It can come for your objective questions. They can give you 3 or 4 of any options. They can give it to you and you have to select from that. So you should know these properties very well, or you can come in and fill in the blanks or true or false. So you need to study this property by heart and the description very well. Now we are going to learn window methods. The methods are these, followed by the parenthesis and their description. You need to study this very well. You should know the description also well. Alert, confirm and prompt. These 3 we have already learned in 11th standard. Alert, what does it do? It displays a dialog box with your message and an OK button will be displayed there. In the case of confirm, a dialog box will appear in which the message is written, the message is given by you, and an OK and cancel button will be there. If you click on OK, that's a true value, that is you have accepted true value there. If you click on cancel button, a false value is accepted. Prompt, This is to accept something from the user. The question like accept a number from the user or accept radius, find the area of a circle. So such questions you used to use prompt and used to accept the value, and there was a OK and cancel button. The message is also there, plus a text field is there along with the OK and cancel button. OK means true, your value is selected. Cancel means you haven't selected that value. Then we have open, close, blur, focus, print, and set timeout. Each one of these we are going to see with an example. Open is to open a new window. Close to close the current window. So for exam, the questions like closes the current window, or they can ask you a previous window. So you cannot choose close. It's about the current window. So close method is for current window, opens a new window or a tab. Blur, it removes the focus from the current window. Blur means you're removing the focus from the current one and going to something else. Focus means you're setting a focus onto the current window. It can be a text field or a window. It can be anything. Print, it print the current window content. That is what a print method is. Set timeout calls a function or evaluates an expression after a specified number of milliseconds. This is also there for your SOP. One practical question is there. We'll explain in detail now. Here we will see the prompt, alert, confirm, print methods here with an example. Here in the body, I've given a form and I've included a button with an event on click, and show is a user defined function. Script I've mentioned inside the body. So if you're mentioning inside the body, always write it after the form. Here function show, function is activated. The first thing, prompt enter name. I'm accepting a name from the user. So here this is what I get when I run this web page. So you can see, click on the button below to accept name, display it, confirm, and print. So there's a button there with click me written on it. After that, I have to accept the name, enter name using prompt. So you can see here, enter name is a message, and this is the prompt with the text field, a dialog box with a text field with an OK and cancel button. I have entered the name as teacher. Okay, so after clicking on this, I've got this dialog box and I've clicked on OK. That means I've accepted this name. So now you can see alert, I'm displaying this name. So name was stored in a variable called n. Now I'm displaying that name. So you can say I got this alert and the entered name is teacher. I got this dialog, alert has got a dialog box with an OK and the message you have written there. Now after that, I'm confirming, confirm. Do you want to print this page? This page means whatever written in the page, the form. Here H1 I've written and I have a button. This page will be printed. So I'm confirming that, and the value is stored back in a variable called answer, ANS. We will see that. So do you want to print this page? That is, if you click on OK, it is true that I've selected. If I click on cancel, it means I've not selected. So it will be false. It will not print. So here, if my answer is true, in that case, here answer, I use double equal to. This is a relational operator. If this is equal to true, the boolean value I'll get from this. If it is equal to true, then I have to print this. That is window.print I have used. Here's none of these here. Prompt, alert, confirm. I did not use window there. If you want, you can use window. Since it's a parent object, it's not compulsory to use. Here just for print, I have used window.print. Otherwise you have to write window.alert, window.confirm. Without that also it will work. See there, since my answer is true, it will go to the print page. Here, the page in which H1 and button is there, that is printed. Ask for the confirmation. So this is what the program using all these methods, prompt, alert, confirm, and print. This is just to understand this. You don't have to study as such, but you know what a print is, what confirm is, what alert is, what prompt is. So this will come for your objective questions. So you should be well aware of these methods. The next two methods we are going to learn are open and close. So open method gives a new browser window or a new tab. Close, it closes the new window, or you can say it closes the current window. So here, how to use it? we have to use window dot open, and in bracket you can put two double quotes here. Okay, so a blank window will be open. Here I have used google.com and I have mentioned the width and height. I have not given any name here. And to close it, what do I have to use? Window dot close, and then I've mentioned the name of that window also, w dot. So that's how I close the current window. So you can see in the form I have two buttons here. So when I open this web page, this is what I get, the two buttons there. If I click on open, I'm opening this window. A new window is opened inside this. This is google.com. It can be a blank window also. It can be any site also. If I want to close this one, I click on this close button because I've used this method called window.close. So to open, you have to use window.open method. That it has got parenthesis, window.close to close this one, and you'll get like this. So these are the two methods to open and close window. The next two methods we are going to learn are focus and blur. Now focus method is used to give focus to an element, and to remove the focus we use blur method. So we see with an example here. In this form I have an H1 and I have a text field, and I've got two buttons here. This is just to show you how it is done. You don't have to worry about this program. You need to understand what are the two methods. Focus, what is the purpose of it? What is the purpose of blur? That much. Now here in button, the first button where value focus is written, if I click on that, I will set focus. The set focus is my function. What does it do? In this function, I have used dot focus on that text field. Now if I click on the button blur, I will remove focus. Remove focus is the user defined function. What does it do? It will remove the focus from the text field. So here I am going to use a text field, and from the text field I'll get the focus onto the text field, and I move the focus away from the text field. So here we'll see, this is what I get when I run the web page. I have a text here and a text field, focus button, blur button. If I click on the focus, see I've already clicked on the focus. So my focus, see the cursor here, it's already there in the text field. Okay, how did I get that? I have used here in this function document.getElement by ID my text. What is the ID of this text? The ID of the text is my text, and that is the ID, and there I'm using focus dot focus and the parenthesis. It's a method. So my focus is over here. Now I want to move away from this. Okay, I'll move the cursor away from this text field. I'll click on the blur. Then what happens? This text field is my text. The ID of this text field is my text. Dot blur I've mentioned. So I moved away from this. So see, here it is highlighted when it was at focus. So now I removed the focus. So my cursor is not there anymore. I've moved the focus away from that. So the purpose of focus and blur, focus is to set focus onto an element, and blur is to take away that focus. That is to remove the focus from that element. That much you have to understand. The last method of window we're going to learn is set timeout. And remember here T is capital, okay, and the parenthesis. So what does it do? Set timeout, this method calls a function or evaluates an expression after a specified number of milliseconds. So here 1000 milliseconds is considered as 1 second. Okay. Now here we can see this is an HTML5 program in which I have a form I have an H1 and I've got a button. On the button value colors is written on the button. There's an on click event and function F1. Okay, this is a function F1 which has to run. This is a small program, and this program is there for your SOP, your practical, your color changing background for the document. That is there. I've taken a small portion of that to make you understand. BG color, remember students, I told you document.bg color. Here BG color is a property where C is capital. I know you remember BG color we have already used in 11th standard, where BG color we used along with body. But this is a property of document where you use BG color where C is capital. Okay, and if it is a property, always mention with an equal to. So once this function F1 is activated, what should I do? If this is activated in this function F1, I have to change the background color to yellow. Your background color of your document will become yellow. And after that, I've mentioned window.setTimeout. SetTimeout is a method. Window, if you don't mention also, it will work. Since I've written here window.setTimeout, there is a parenthesis. See the parenthesis here. Here there are two parameters. The first part, second part. What is the first part? First part, it can be a function or it can be an expression which can be evaluated. So this is a function. Okay. So this function, it is enclosed in double quotes. This function will execute. When it will execute? After 1200 milliseconds. So 1000 milliseconds is 1 second. So 1.2 second after that this function will be executed. So what is written in this function? In this function I've written function F2. What is written in that? Document.bg color should be green, so that when I open the web page, this is what I see. Okay, my H1 and the button. If I click on the button, I'll get the yellow color. And after 1.2 seconds, what will happen? Immediately, it will change into green color. We'll see. See, this is what I get. I click on the colors. Immediately, I'll get yellow color. And after that, this is automatically this happens. I don't have to do anything because this function F2 will be activated by this, because I've written here set timeout. When this function is getting activated, it will show yellow color. Immediately this function will run. That is, this function after 1200 milliseconds, this function that is over here, green will happen. That is what a set timeout is. Next, we are going to learn JavaScript events. We have already learned in 11th standard various events like on click, on mouse over, on mouse out, on key up, on key down. So what is an event? It's an action done by the user or an application. So suppose if there is an on click event, so what is happening? If I click on the button, what should happen after that? So maybe a function will be open. I have to display something, or I have to create something. I have to evaluate something. So this is what an event is. So additional events we are going to learn here: on blur, on focus, on change, on select, on submit, on reset, on load, and on unload. These two, it's there for your SOP, for your practical in JavaScript, where you're changing the document background color. We'll see each one of these with an example. Here, the two events we will learn: on focus and on blur. So what is on focus? On focus event occurs when an element gets focused. So when a particular element is focused, so that event happens. When does on blur happens? When an object loses its focus. So that is when a user leaves a focus field. I'll explain with an example. So this is a program in which in the form I have mentioned a text field. I've written enter your name and there is just one text field. There is no button here. Okay. The text field I've given the type as text. ID I've given on focus. This is my first event. And the second event is on blur. So on focus, F1 function should happen. On blur, F2 should happen. Okay. So this is inside form. Now, in the script I've mentioned about the function F1. What is F1 doing? It is document.bg color equal to cyan. That is document background color. C background color, BG color, it's a property. So C is capital. Background color should be turned into cyan color. So when does this happen? So in this text field, if I keep my mouse, if my focus is in the text field, then this event should happen. So when does this event happens? That is, when does the document BG color becomes pink? That is function 2. When the event is on blur, then the function 2 will happen. That is document.bg color should become pink. So this is the output which I'll get. The background color is white. I have entered your name, the text given, and there is a text field. Okay, it is not focused right now. I keep my cursor here. It means I focus. I focus in this particular text field. Then what happened? Immediately this function will be activated and the background color will be turned into cyan. See, my cursor is over here. That is, I kept my mouse over here. My focus is there in the text field. Immediately the function F1 activated and this cyan color is there for the background now. Now from here I move my mouse out and my focus is away from this text field. If I keep my mouse away out of this text field, it means I blurred out. I removed the focus from the text field. Immediately you can see the color has gone. See, it has become gray in color. When it is active, when you are inside the focus, see the color of the text field. The border, it's black in color. Immediately I went out, I blurred out because this function happened. So this became pink and I'm out of this text field. So when I'm inside the text field and when I'm outside the text field. The next event is on change. So when does an on change event occurs? When the value of an element has been changed. That is, in a text field, when a user changes the content of an input field, then this event happens. Here you can see I have a form. In the form, I have mentioned only a text field. There's no button here. In the text field, I have mentioned the value. That's a default value given for this text field. I'm asking the user to enter some text. Value given here default is hello. On change, the function F1 should be activated. So on change is the event here. So here, see the output, enter some text and the text field hello will be there because that is a default value given, value equal to hello. I want to change this value. So immediately when I change this value hello, I use backspace or delete it and I make it high. Immediately this event gets activated and function F1 will be seen. So what is function F1? In function F1, I'm supposed to accept the same value which I've entered in the text field and display it to the user. So here I have written hi. That will be accepted into a variable and that's displayed to the user. So in a dialog box, it's an alert, a dialog box will come with my message that is hi. The new value is hi. This is what I've mentioned, the new values. This was the earlier value. When I changed this, the event occurred and function F1 is activated and this is displayed on the screen. So on change means it's an event. When does it happen? When you change something in the text field, this event will be activated. The next event is on select. On select happens after some text has been selected in an element. So here we see with an example, this is the form which contains select the text. There is a text field. The value, the default value given here is hello students. On select is the event and function F1. Okay, so what is F1 doing? F1 is displaying you selected some text in an alert. That is in a message box or a dialog box. You selected some text should be displayed with an OK button. So when does this happen? When you select a particular text. So what is the text here? So see, select the text that is given here. This is output and I have a text field. There are no other buttons here. This is a default value here. I selected these text inside this text field. So this is the element here. Inside the text field, I selected this. Immediately function F1, that is, this is activated. So what is inside this? Alert message, you selected some text will be displayed. So on select is the event. When does this happen? When you select the text inside the element. The next event is on submit. On submit event occurs when a form is submitted. We have already seen the submit button when we learned in 11 standard programs with submit button. And then we use these for programs with 12 standard also. But where do we write this on submit? We write it along with the form. Form have got attributes like name, method, action. Along with this, we write this on submit. On submit is the event equal to this function F1 should be activated. So what is written inside the function F1? Alert, form submitted successfully. That's all written here. Inside the form, I have first name, last name, two text fields, and then I have a submit button. So I have written something in the text fields. I click on the submit button. Immediately, form submitted successfully. This message box is displayed along with the OK button. So that is this function on submit event and this function is activated. So whatever written inside the function that will be seen here. The next event is on reset. So when does this happen? This occurs when a form is reset. Here you can see in the form I have mentioned enter username. There is a text field. and there is input type equal to reset. So this is a reset button we have already learned in 11th standard. So what does it do? It resets the form. That is, the form will become fresh as new if you click on the reset button. So value I've given here is reset. So where do I write this on reset event? I'll write it along with the form, just like on submit. So form name attribute, along with that I'll write on reset, which is the event, equal to function F1. What is F1 doing? Function F1 contains alert the form was reset. This message should be displayed. Here I have this enter username and a text field. I have written a text or a username inside this text field and I click on reset button. So when I click on it, this is the event which is happening. On reset, function F1 should be activated. What is written inside that? The form was reset. This alert message will be displayed. If I click on OK, immediately the username will become blank. So whatever written, it's gone. The next two events are onload and onUnload. So onload means when a page has been loaded. OnUnload means when the page is unloaded or the browser window has been closed. Now here, both these events we write along with the body tags. So here you can see body, this is an element or tag. Along with that I've written onload event equal to, and I've mentioned the function which is F1. OnUnload, I've mentioned another event. Along with that I've mentioned the function F2. Okay, you can use it together or you can use just one as per your requirement. So here I have both these events. That is, when the page is loaded, what should happen? And when the page is unloaded, what should happen? So when the page is loaded, immediately this function F1 should be activated. What is written inside the function F1? In the status bar, hello all should be displayed. That is, window is the object, dot status, it's a property, equal to hello all should be displayed in the status bar when you open the Internet Explorer browser. And then in onUnload, when you're unloading, what should happen? This F2 should be activated. What is written inside the F2 function? Alert thank you message should be displayed. So you can see the output. When I load this page, automatically I'll see this H1. So H1 message is displayed. Along with that, I can see here function F1, that is status. In the status bar, hello all is displayed. Okay. Now function F2, when I close this or when I refresh it, reload it or refresh with F5, in that case, thank you message should be displayed. In older browsers, it will be displayed. According to different browser settings, you may not see this output. So if you have an older browser, you can see the output alert thank you message will be displayed.